And the guide starts the lecture by talking about the fact that the issues about the fear of loving emanate from the immature parts of us. And by that he means that maturity, the ability to love, is a sign of maturity. And vice versa, maturity allows you to love. And the dilemma with loving is that as a child, we feel that we have to have love to live, and there's a reality in that. It is true that we have to have love to live as a human being. As a child, we see other people being able to give love, and we may not perceive ourselves as capable of giving. We may not have that consciousness yet. So we perceive other people as able to give love, and we need love to survive. Therefore, our job becomes to get love. And so there's a natural evolution in a child of recognizing the positive of love and trying to gain it or magnify it. So if we get a little bit, it's yummy and we want more. And if it's yummy and we want more, we start seeing where other people seem to have the ability to take love away from us. And this translates to, oh my God, I'm going to need to somehow assure that I get enough of what I need. Remembering that we're talking about a child consciousness here. But the perfection of being a human being is we all go through that. We just don't become little Buddhas, most of us, when we're 3. Usually we're going along one version or another of the same levels of development. And some of us get into more trouble than others, but that's just the breadth of our experience. So as a child, we see that what we must do is we must get love, we must control it, we must grab it, we must get people to give it to us. And what that generates is a sense that they have to surrender to us. And if we believe that they must surrender to us so that we can get love, on an unconscious level, we may believe that for us to give love, we need to surrender. And perhaps you can see the confusion that this causes. So the getting of love, the reaching out and trying to grab it, that's a power move. Surrendering is not seen by the child as a power move. The child's experience of surrender will result in nothing. So the guide talks about love, to some degree or another, is a matter of surrender. Love is about giving without a forcing current, without a demand, without an agenda, to simply love. And in that action, we are not attempting to gain power over another. And that is a surrender. And that it is very hard for the child consciousness to understand that. That's an adult thing. It's a long-term goal, and children, just their heads are not designed like that. They aren't developed enough to see the long-term goal. It's like, eat your vegetables and you'll be healthy. It just doesn't work for kids. So we want love, and the human development is to learn that there's another step to that. It's like, that's the step 1, we want love. And step 2 is we both want to give love, and to get, you have to give. I don't know whether that's chicken and egg stuff, but there's a place where some of us learn to love because we can't get away with not loving. Okay? We don't come willingly to the table. We come because that's the game and we have to play. But that's okay too. That's like a learning stage, a place where you do it by rote before you do it out of your heart. So I remember as a child, my mother wanted me to write thank you notes. And as a child, I didn't Sometimes I just didn't know how. Sometimes the gift wasn't perfect. I didn't want to. From a child's perspective, why should I thank you? I didn't like it. Okay? From a child's perspective, I want to go play with my toy. I don't want to sit down and write letters to Auntie. And it's important as a parent to teach your child appreciation and gratitude, even though at first it will come out as, "Dear Auntie, thank you for the toy, love me." Better than nothing. Okay? But the process of learning that builds over time, so that at some point we might sit down and write a genuinely heartfelt, loving letter to someone who went out of their way, did us a favor, gave us a gift, or made our hearts sing. So it's a process. Well, loving is also a protest. All right, maybe it is a protest. What I was trying to say was love is a process. To learn to love is not something that comes intuitively, naturally, and fully in its mature state. So in its immature state, it may need to be pulled in to loving through ritualistic thank yous and taking care ofs, rather than being a natural emanation of the heart, but that's okay. Now the dilemma that I face sometimes is that people think they're supposed to grow up by the time they reach 18 or 21. And while that may be true on a physical level, on a social level it usually takes 5 or 10 years more time before they are well ensconced in society. And on a spiritual level, it's not uncommon for it to take another 10, 20, or 30 years. So the ability to love is so massive and phenomenal and awesome that it doesn't surprise me that it would take 50, 60 years to learn, and certainly that long to master. But to master something, you have to work on it. So of course you would start working on it from the day you were born. So what I'm speaking of here is that the fear of loving stems from an immature place in us, a place of child consciousness, where we perceive that we have to give to get, and we only give to get. That our giving is a control play, a power play, rather than necessarily an emanation from the heart. There are always movements of love from the heart. But I'm talking about the troubled areas where we're playing a game so that we can win. And what we want to win is love.